Raila's influence has been reduced to a Nyanza influence. Actual Luo Nyanza influence. It's that bad. Whatever influence Raila will have will not go beyond Luo Nyanza.
Western is not feeling it.
Even in Western, where we have always worshipped Raila, if you want to lose an election, let people associate you with Raila. And that's the truth. So how will he help Ruto? When you appear in a rally, and then ukiangalia nyuma bundles zinatoka hivi, watu wanafanyia, look at these idiots. That's what is happening. You get one, you lose two. Hiyo ni hesabu gani Ruto anapiga sasa? You get one but lose two. Hiyo si hesabu. Hiyo hata mtoto class 5 atashangaa ni hesabu gani president anapiga.
One waonge wasiwasi, one waonge watch, one wachwado manatich. This is President Ruto saying the government haina wasiwasi. I'm here with Prof Manyora as you assess Madaraka Day, looking at the country as it is. Prof, great to see you. How are you doing today?
Good.
Are we united, as the president says? Is the government stable too? I might want to ask when he says they're not in fear of anything, they're just delivering for Kenyans.
Whether we are united as a country?
Yes. When you look at Nyanza, Raila there, Kindiki.
You know, that's a very difficult question to answer. At one level, you can say we are united because people are not united at each other's throats. And we know of countries where people from different communities or ethnicities, religions, demographies cannot meet without a fight. You know they are there.
Yes.
So we are not like, so we are united. The divisions are more or less artificial. But if you are looking at this thing from a political point of view and a threat to our own existence, we are very divided. We are a divided country.
From the political lens?
Yeah.
Why so?
You know, when people are not seeing things in the same way, when they are beyond normal divisions, you know, politics is a game of division. Okay? But when it goes beyond that game of division, then it becomes dangerous for the country. Ours is division beyond normal. Yeah.
What is the picture you're getting with Raila on that podium with William Ruto? Same as usual, or as now they're saying Nyanza region or the Luo nation is in government? Is there an argument to that when people say we are now in government because of Ruto and we're getting development because of
Which
Ruto?
government now? So it means therefore government is for some. That's the division I'm talking about. The impression that this country belongs to others but not others is a very dangerous thing for a country. It has sunk nations. Look at Rwanda, for example. If you run things in a country and leave some sections of that country feeling they don't belong, it can be dangerous for the country.
You sit here and you usually say that the mountain region feels entitled. The Luo nation feels as if they're not entitled, or
they are persecuted, they are betrayed.
Has Ruto been able to deal with that when you look at his handshake with Raila, and how would you compare this one with that of Uhuru, Kibaki, Moi?
You know, these handshakes are handshakes of convenience. Convenience of the time. Sometimes it can save the nation, as in 2008, 2007, 2008. Or even to 2017, 2018 with Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto. And even now, even with Moi, between Moi and Raila and so on and so forth. But beyond the moment, a handshake like the one of 2018 between Uhuru and Raila was founded on some thinking, on some historical knowledge and historical background. And these two gentlemen say, okay, we understand this country. We know we are not a united country. And the two communities that represent that are the Luo and the Kikuyu. And our fathers, to me, Jaramogi and Jomo Kenyatta, played a role in this division. where the two sides look at each other with a lot of suspicion and hostility. It then spreads to the other communities and the entire country. So the handshake between Uhuru and Ruto was about addressing that issue.
Uhuru and Raila.
The historical challenges this country has faced. But now when you look at Ruto and Raila, it is just convenience. It is Gen Zs who are bringing Ruto down. And he looked for Raila to help him. But in so doing, they have not come up with any solid foundation on which to stand this agreement of theirs, this working of theirs. It is just there. Bring your hand, you are sinking. Let me pull you out of the pit.
If you
Doesn't go beyond
if you
that.
consult for them, changing this perception that Kenyans have, riding on the Gen Z's blood,
Yes.
what should they do if they want this foundation to be seen as a foundation that unifies, as you put it, like that of Uhuru and Raila?
You see, it's very simple. If I were to be their consultant and they are paying me well, I will tell them, now with Raila and the Ruto being together, the threat to Ruto is not as great. In other words, presidents do bad things in the name of protecting their presidency. Presidents sometimes are forced to do even things that are unconstitutional, illegal, extrajudicial, and so on and so forth to protect their presidency. Sometimes they allocate resources very unfairly in an even manner so as to please certain corners for purposes of existence and purposes of re-election. But now that the two are together, it's no longer necessary. Ruto has no reason to worry.
That's why he's saying one wonge,
Yeah, so
he doesn't have reason to worry.
Yeah, for that reason, this working together between Ruto and Raila should enable Ruto to do the right things for this country. Just do the right things.
Not to focus on Nyanza.
Wacha ukora. Wacha ujanja mingi. Don't be clever or smart. Just do the right things. Begin by forming government that can run, not government of convenience. You don't need to put Mbadi in the treasury so that you please Raila. No. Work with Raila to develop this country. Form the best government you can afford. Tell Raila, give me good men and women. Tell other people and form good government, starting from cabinet, principal secretaries, and so on and so forth. Look at the things that are paining the people of this country and deal with them.
Would there be a threat from Gachagua's side? Because we are seeing Gachagua in Mount Kenya.
Yes.
We are seeing Natembeya in Western. And then Ruto is with Raila in Nyanza for the past 3-4 days. Is there a threat for them as much as he says he's not?
If you are not doing the right things, the threat is there. Look, let me give you a very simple example. If you are trying to please Raila by camping in Nyanza and doing good things, the so-called development, I don't know what it means myself. What are you telling the Mlembe nation next door? And you hear them, they are speaking. They are saying, oh, so when it comes to Raila, you give things, we don't. So you get one, you lose two. Hiyo ni hesabu gani Ruto anapiga sasa? You get one but lose two. Hiyo si hesabu. Hiyo hata mtoto class 5 atashangaa ni hesabu gani president anapiga.
He has lost it.
Yeah.
Is that
So,
what you're saying?
yeah.
He has lost it.
But if you are doing the right thing, this idea of moving around the country and telling people you are giving them this and the other, it will just stop. Tell parliament, like Kibaki, Kibaki did something good for us. I rarely praise Kibaki, but when it comes to development, Kibaki alisema, si viti kuna process yake. Pana ngoja mimi napita mahali maniambia tupatie hii. I don't have anything to give you.
Why do you think the president is adamant? Why do you think he keeps on doing this, despite the messages from Kenyans, despite pundits talking about how he's losing?
He thinks it will work. So you can't blame Ruto. Ruto thinks what he's doing is right. He thinks it will work. But I can assure him it will not work. What he's doing vis-a-vis doing the right things, it is the right thing that works. in the long run. In the final analysis, it's the right things that work. So it is very surprising. I was in a meeting where I'm a director and I was telling people, hii ujanja mingi na ukora minga, in the final analysis, it pains you, it gives you pressure. But if you have to do the right thing, you'll be surprised at how simple things can be. The ease with which you'll do if you are a chairman of a board or a president of a country. Just do the right thing. You'll be shocked. You'll still have everything you want.
Yeah.
When you do the right thing, doesn't mean you can't get what you want. This is a mistake people think, that you ring fence things, you become tough, you know, ukora mingi na ujanja. No! History has shown that doesn't work. What works is the right thing, the simple thing.
I wanted to know about Raila, whether he can save him later, but we have seen also Farouk Kibet. When Ruto is in Nyanza, Farouk Kibet is in Western. And this has happened several times where Farouk Kibet is holding meetings, development meetings for government. This strategy, Ruto on one side, Farouk on the other side, what do you make of it, especially in terms of leaders feeling Farouk is hitting a little, pinching a little hard?
You see, Farouk is a good man. In fact, he's a very good man. But the assignment he's giving himself is not the right assignment. Mr. Fix-It is rarely a public figure. We have had people, powerful people in this country. They were never quite public. From Kenyatta to Moi, all through Kibaki, the most powerful individuals were never public figures. They were never in public. They just engaged underground. So Farouk has re-engineered, has changed the game where he is public. I don't know whether it will work, but you invite resentment. And finally, to Ruto and Farouk, I'll advise them as follows. I'll tell them as follows. The moment people associate you with money, giving money, it doesn't go beyond that. Yeah. They just associate you with money. They don't see anything beyond the money you carry. And when they welcome you, women do, you game here. It is just the money they are looking for. Even when you stand for a seat, use money. But if you make people associate you with money, that money cannot help you to get a seat. So for Farouk and a few of these other people, they are increasingly getting associated with money.
This is what Gachagua is saying, 5,000 per sitting.
Yeah, so when people associate you with money, it doesn't go beyond that. When you leave, they just laugh. Also, money then begins to create rivalry among the people. You go somewhere, people say, okay, Faruku akikuja hapo fulani ndio kusema, and hawa ndio wanapewa pesa. So you lose even among the leaders. Money must be used very, very cleverly, in a very intelligent way.
I'm asking perception-wise. We see a lot of people going to these gatherings. Does it help in any way when we see a lot of gatherings with the president or president's aides, Kindiki, with a lot
A friend of mine called Sagero said, we are not foolish Manyora. He's a Kisi man who doesn't support Matiangi. Very good friend. Both of us, the three of us are good friends. He said, Manyora, you think we are foolish? When we go and have these big rallies, we know these people will not vote for us, but we are creating the impression we have people. When we win, irrespective of how we win, nobody will complain. You say, but you saw we had people. You used to say we had no people, but people are always there.
Like what we saw with Mount Kenya.
Yeah. So tumesema tumeiba namna gani? Si mlikuwa mnaona watu wakitufuata. That's the purpose optics will serve. Otherwise, those crowds, they know. Everybody going there, they know.
You're not going to vote for these people.
We are going for money.
We are going for money.
This is our money. Wacha tukule pesa yetu. A guy was in Meru, he stood. And there have been others like him. I think he was Elfas Riungu or something. I can't remember. Stories were told. He used to work in Central Bank or something. He had a lot of money. Big money. In fact, after the elections, when people were laughing that akasema sasa nyinyi mlikuwa mmekula pesa ile imeanguka nje ya store. Ndani ya store hamkuingia. Ile inaanguka when you are piling pesa kwa store. Kuna nyingine inaanguka kwa nje huko kwa madirisha. Hiyo ndio mlikuwa mnakula mnafikiri mmenimaliza. People were saying, there's a hotel there. I saw the same in Karatina. Somebody stood there, I think it was called Peter something. He had a hotel. He said the number of goats he slaughtered were more than the number of votes people gave him. I want to repeat this. Don't make people associate you with free money. Money to give. Wakikuona wanaona pesa. Wakiona Faruku wanaona pesa. Wakiona Sudi wanaona pesa. Hiyo tu pesa. They don't see anything else beyond the bundles you have. The same money could be used in a more effective way. Even less. Hii mkitokea ati the way people used to appear. I want to help these people because they are my friends. They are good people. When you appear in a rally and then ukiangalia nyuma bundles zinatoka hivi. Watu wanafanyia look at these idiots. That's what is happening. So for people who are using money like this, I want to remind them. When I was a young man, when I began taking an active part in politics, it was at a time when Harambes were becoming very popular. Many of the people who became MPs in the 1979 election, 83 and maybe earlier, were people who were contributing in Harambee. I remember an MP from my place, na kipara inafika hapa. Wakati watu wanaitwa kwenda kupeana pesa, anaingia strategically. He doesn't rush. Alafu anafanya mkono namna hii nyuma. Huko nyuma iko 1,000. In those days hakuna hata noti ya 200.
20 shillings notes.
Ameshika. Watu wameanza kupiga nduru tayari. Onamu.
So this is what
government... those were the days when if you gave money, and it continued well into the bit of the 90s, where when the people were giving na ile kiondo moja ako pale,
yes,
mtu akitoa 50,000. Money works wonders. It gave you bonga points. I'm advising these people. I want them to know money no longer excites people. So use money strategically to win votes, to get people. But to go on a podium, look at what Kindiki is doing. He's been doing so-called development. Everybody's laughing about it. Because you say, this is empowerment, the so-called empowerment. Gani unashika tu watu dakika mbili unaambia ungana. If you want to empower young people, they must go through a process to be sensitized, to know the meaning of working together, to identify the right projects, to avoid mistakes of other people. There ought to be what we used to call youth development officers, community development officers, and people of that kind, to take them through some form of induction and training of how to handle resources, of how to manage groups, of the challenges of starting an enterprise when you are many people. They are taken through all these. They open their own, they form their own group, have it registered, they attend the seminars, they do benchmarking. And then when somebody is satisfied, an organization is satisfied, now they have the capacity, then you give them money. Slowly you fund in phases. Sasa hii unaenda kushikaneni watu hapo vijana 60. Empowerment. Muanzishe, mtaka kufanya kazi gani? Kaoshe. Inataka pesa ngapi? 4,000,000, shikeni. Ukitoka hapo wanagawana kila mtu yake anaenda nyumba. They're all laughable. It achieves nothing apart from ridicule. So people look at you sometimes as a fool.
Then what are you saying? Are you basically saying that Ruto has lost the game of politics? Is this what you're saying?
Yeah.
The man who everyone thought...
Who took over as a professor of politics from Moi.
I'm asking, has he lost it?
I think for now, yes. He's not getting it. He thinks he's not getting it. He'll be run out of town. I wish he talked to people like Manyora here. Wait, if you want to know, Ruto has lost it. But he can save it. He can salvage it. You wait until young men take direct interest from next year. When they go to constituency head office to be registered, and they don't live there until you register them across the country. When they go for IDs and they cannot allow you to stay with the ID for more than a week before you give them, because they are just there. They are just there.
Huduma centers crowded.
They are just there. They say, we are 1,000 of us. We want those forms now. Bring people to fill. Within 5 days, tutakuwa tumemalizika sisi wote. And we are coming back after 30 days for our IDs. And you will give them. That's the time they will know they have lost it. That's the time they will regret not doing the right thing.
Yes.
And engaging in these cheap games. These cheap games, you know, things work at some point. They get to a point they don't longer work. In the 1990s and a bit of 2000, clever politicians, let's call them clever, would watch as new politicians come and spend money spend arambe, nini, football, wanakuangalia tu, they are just watching. They are just watching you. The last week, wanakuja. The last night, wanazunguka 50 kila mtu. Everybody has abandoned you, this guy wins. So mtu angekuwa na kibunda yake 3 tu kwa constituency, ananyamaza tu. Wengine wanazunguka. Then he just comes up. The last moment. Where I come from, if you went with money at a polling station where 300 people are registered and you went with 100 shillings, targeting half of those 150, you'll get them. And they'll vote for you. Because what? People hang around the polling station. They don't vote. They don't vote. They don't vote at all. Ukija wanakuonyesha hii. Sijapiga kura. Na sure enough, if you give them 100, they'll go and vote for you. Around 3, 4, just before the polling station. So some clever politicians used to time. Wanatuma agents around 4 o'clock. Na ako na agent ndani. Mtu anapata 50, akivoti arudi anaongezwa 50. Somebody becomes an MCA. Those tactics cannot work today.
Finally,
first of all, let me tell Kenyans, and of course I'm a good man, you know that.
Yes.
And I'm helping Ruto and Raila and the rest of these people. Those kind of games around polling stations will not work because these young people will beat you up. You will not go buying people at the polling station with these young people around. They will not allow you. Because they are your children, what will you do to them? And they are in millions.
But we saw what happened last year.
Yeah. You can kill 1 or 2 of them, but at some point it's not possible. They are your children. You kill your own children. I know hyenas eat their own children. So unless we are saying our leaders are hyenas, they may act out of step once in a while. But again, it's a question of the scale. This thing was concentrated in Nairobi. Of course, it was scattered around the country, but mainly the epicenter was Nairobi. And for a limited short period of time. But what will you do if it is spread across the country? And the election is what will charge the people to be directly involved in the elections. So what young people will be doing in Nairobi is what young people will be doing in Malindi and in Vihiga, where I come from, and in Muranga, where you come from. How will you manage this? It's an army of young people. Today we have an army that is changing the world. This army has the most sophisticated weapons. He that was unseen and unused. This is the army of vijana. The Gen Z is an army you can't beat in any war, whether conventional or guerrilla. You can't beat that army. Clever people, and this if you see Europe, what clever people are doing, they are working with them. In some instances, they're giving them power. So you find in Europe, you find a lot of, if you look at cabinets in many of European countries, you find 23, 27-year, 30-year-old prime minister, minister this. Parliament is almost, and like I've said here, this extra 30 seconds you are giving me. You watch the Kenyan parliament in the year 2032. I'm helping these people who are not seeing. I want them to see. Look at the parliament of Kenya, especially the National Assembly, in the year 2032. over 70% will be people below 35 years. If you are still waiting, if you are not seeing today, that's your problem. Look at the county assemblies, my MCS. Not 2032, 2027. Over 50% in 2027, MCS, will be young boys and girls like these ones here. People 20, 21, 22. So if you are not seeing that's where the world is going, then you are slipping through a revolution. But those who know will plan accordingly. I was doing consultancy work for somebody who wants to become governor of Nairobi. When this Gen Z thing happened, akaretreat. Akaanza kusema, tukaanza kuulizana, should we continue with this game? How are we going to sit with Gen Zs? So that's an intelligent candidate. We had to sit back, to withdraw a bit and say, ask ourselves, the things we have been putting in place, now with this Gen Z thing, will we find favor with Gen Zs, we who are in the 60s? You see, that is an intelligent candidate. As you come on and skia, but there are those who think they are smart. Ask what you are saying. I
was just asking finally, can Raila help in this equation? We saw Kisumu Stadium filled by midnight before the Madaraka.
Homa Bay Stadium.
I just want to know, can Raila help in any way if you say Ruto has lost the plot?
Raila will not be of much help to Ruto in 2027. The reason being, he's viewed with suspicion, even those who trust him. Even his fanatical followers, they view Raila with suspicion. You know, Raila is my friend, and I hate to say that. Raila's influence has been reduced to a Nyanza influence, actual Luo Nyanza influence. It's that bad. Whatever influence Raila will have will not go beyond Luo Nyanza.
Western is not feeling him.
Even in Western, where we have always worshipped Raila, if you want to lose an election, let people associate you with Raila. And that's the truth. So how will he help Ruto? The Raila magic is fast waning, is disappearing because of this dalliance with Ruto. But again, I must say this, Raila is a magician.
Yes.
He can turn things. Raila is another man. To understand Raila is difficult.
For Ruto?
For Ruto, it will be an uphill task. But for Raila, you can't rule out anything. He can still manage to turn a sizable number of votes towards Ruto. It's Raila. Being Raila is still possible. But I have my reservations.
For the first time you have reservations?
Because, you know me, I read the ground. I'm beyond DCP.
Skiza ground.
I am ground. And I know not many people are happy with Raila. I know, because you see, people associate me with Raila, you know that. So people meet me and they tell me, you know, I hear, even those very close to him, very close to Raila, when we meet, they say, I don't know whether you get what I'm saying.
Things are tough.
Things are tough. So unless the enigma in him comes out with something, as the way things sit now, I don't see Raila transferring much capital to Ruto. I don't see it.
For himself he can, but for Ruto?
For himself, if he said he's running tomorrow, Raila is a magician. He'll get back his crowd. Not all of it. Sizable number of it. But again, some people are saying, supposing Ruto now decides it's too bad, let me back Raila.
Aye. Yes, gani hiyo.
Susikia hata Orengo akisema. Alikuwa Orengo ama alikuwa nani?
Back Raila.
Yeah. Politics is politics. If Ruto realizes it is gone, instead of going home in shame when he entered the Bombers head high with the entire family, he doesn't want to exit the stadium like this. He can say, mzee ni mzuri sana, wacha tumpatia one term. Mimi nitarudi baadaye.
And then he become Ruto, the unifying Ruto.
Yeah, so me, I think this country is bigger than Ruto. I think let's give Raila a chance. you know Raila will become president. And Raila si mtu mbaya kwa kurudisha mkono. Aweza kurudishia Ruto mkono akamwambia now come back 2032. Of course it looks far-fetched.
But
It's a possibility, but far-fetched.
well, thanks for tuning into that conversation. Prof has left me with another thought. I think we'll have that conversation later on. Until we do talk again, have yourself a lovely rest of your day.